All right. It is currently the 36th day of the first quarter of your second year. It has been a little over a month since you have taken on the mantle of your colleges and started your studies as mages in earnest. A month since some of your more bittersweet but hopeful interactions with characters that you love. A little over a month since things were never normal here, and you had already had to take up roles and jobs and responsibilities that will always be bigger than you are. But they were normal enough. You had a lot of victories, and hopefully, you can move forward with that same sort of tone. I'm gonna start with Motiva, and I'd like to ask where you think you would be in the morning twilight. There's a couple clouds in the sky, and it's definitely cool, but it's already starting to warm up as you're hitting past the middle of the cold season.
Mm-hmm.
The new moon just ended, actually.
Damn. I think Motiva is in her room. I think since cold season is starting to hit an end, she is very reluctant to go outside at any time.
Definitely not compared to how cold you like things. You know, it's easily
Yeah.
like a 50 to 60 situation right now.
She's definitely staying inside most of the time. I think right now what she would be doing is what she's been doing most of her free time, which is a mix of studying and also reading up on the different books about planes that she has collected.
Yeah, that you started sort of researching, whether preemptively or just to pass the time. Motiva, you in particular have gotten a lot of information about planes over the past year alongside Falin. And it's almost become like second nature, I think, to find comfort in knowing in some capacity, you know more than most of your peers that at any point you could go to any of these planes for any reason. You know?
I think it's haunting.
Yeah, I think it is too. Um, and I think that is the tone that we have on this brisk but quiet morning. Uh, Flynn, when you make this connection, where is the first place that you go? What is the first thing that you do?
Honestly, I think she's gonna try and find Onyx.
Okay. You go to find Onyx in this moment of people don't, non intellectuals and non academics don't understand how a eureka moment works, how an epiphany works. And people think that suddenly everything is clear and everything is hopeful and everything works out because you figure out the missing piece. It is a shock to the system. It is something that rocks you to your feet and you're running. There's any number of things that you could have done or people you've got to have gone to, whether it be your peer, your companions, uh, faculty, anything. So you go and you try to find Liliana, and it is such an up in the air thing to find her these days. No matter what misgivings any of you have to Onyx, it is apparent If not, had it been apparent last time, it is apparent now that she is working herself to the bone. And I have to roll to see if you find her. Because you can't search.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're tired. You're so tired and you're sick with worry. And every step makes you feel nauseous. You go to her office and you don't even knock. You throw wide the door. And you do find Onyx. You see that her chair is turned around, facing the portrait on the back wall, as she is napping in her chair.
I feel like she slams open this door and sees Onyx napping
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't do anything to like greet or like try to be like a gentle wake up or anything. She's fucking marching over there, putting a hand on the chair to like shake it a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and is just going to say a bit loudly, "We need to go to Ixalan."
By the time you put your hand on the chair, Onyx's eyes are open and looking at you. Whatever rest she might have found was not deep. And you see that she goes to stand, and she goes to kind of almost take a second to. You see this sort of like couple half seconds of like. It is disorienting to see somebody wake up and come into themselves normally. I would compare how Falin sees Onyx do it in this moment to someone who does it who is consecuted, for lack of a better word. Onyx has been alive for so long, you almost see layers as she comes back into this moment. In a way that you find hauntingly familiar as Philindira. And you see that she goes to look at you. And she goes to say, "What have you found?" There's no doubt. There's no, what are you trying to say to me? It is immediately asking for evidence and a reason why.
Mm-hmm. I feel like whenever Falin had this like eureka moment, and was going to go find Onyx, she brought her papers and shit with her and like all of her notes specifically to prepare for this, and is going to start going over all of the reasons that points to why Ixalan is the likely place.
Okay. Now I have a fun question for you. If Onyx goes to try to take your papers, do you let her?
I feel like there is a split second of like indignation or like annoyed that she would try to just grab them, but Falin like doesn't know where that comes from, and so she is just ignoring that and is just gonna let her take them.
Okay, awesome. Cool, noted. I feel like there's this action that I'm imagining in my head where it's almost like she's taking them after listening to you, and she's flipping through them and like sort of rereading these sort of shorthand connections that you've made. And she's almost like muttering to herself as she goes to almost like write in the margins or in the empty spots of this paper. And I think she does something that makes that indignation simmer in your stomach. because she doesn't look back at you, which is not dismissive, technically. You're technically like emergency, like this is a rescue operation. The fact that she is taking it seriously and going immediately into corroborating your evidence and thinking things over is technically a good thing. But she doesn't look at you, and she says, "Get Motiva."
She just nods and is going to run to find Motiva and is going to text her.
Awesome. Send your text message, and I'm actually going to give you a little thing that I think is very interesting. Your relationship with Vess, Onyx, Liliana, Seraphina is one of an employee and a boss, a leader and a follower, a student and a mentor, right? And this shows a very interesting turning point, because last year, anytime there was an issue, anytime there was something that was Planeswalker business, some of the first people that she would search out to help you and support you were the twins. And they were involved in almost everything that you did, Planeswalker-wise. It is noticeable and poignant that the only person she asked for right now was Motiva. Not them. Motiva. What are you doing?
Yes, sir. Hauling ass.
Hauling ass? Okay.
She's getting in her broom, and she's a-going.
Okay. It is very easy for you guys to sort of meet in the middle. As Onyx's office is in Widdershin's Hall, which is the main building of Witherbloom, which is also the place with the teleportation room. So it is very easy for Falin, you to run down to the teleportation circle, go over to Silverquill, and then Motiva on the way to the teleportation circle to get to Witherbloom, and you sort of meet in the middle. Falin, exhausted, bedraggled, running, almost angry, and running to you, Motiva, flying on your broom, well rested. However, you are facing this day. And I want to know if you guys say anything to each other. You guys are the star of the show.
Motiva's going to look to Falin and say, "Did you find anything?"
Yes, I have several reasons to believe that they are on Ixalan. Come on.
Okay.
Falin is going to fill Motiva in on the way as best she can.
Okay. I would love to hear how you would have Falin word that.
Yes, I think because of the state she is in, it is not the most well organized.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of like rambling about all of the different books and papers and theories that she found. And she's going to start rambling a bit. I'm pacing for this to get into the vibe.
Nice. That's the vibe, isn't it? Very Pepe Sylvia.
It's madness.
It just took me so fucking long just to get any freaking tooth into this thing. But I started going down the little rabbit hole of all of Necrobolus's shit, and I learned about the immortal sun in Ravnica, and about how it was used to trap him, and about how Ixalan is where they set up that trap, and the description of Ixalan matches up, and the brightness and the properties of something like that would explain why it's been so fucking hard just to scry anything. And I feel like as she talks about this, it's half informing Motiva, half complaining.
Yeah. Motiva's gonna like look to Falin and it's just like, so you like kept up your promise that you were sleeping though, right?
But yes, I've been sleeping. I haven't. I mean, I've been sleeping as much as I can.
Uh-huh.
I've been getting nightly trances.
Okay.
I'm fine. She is not fine.
Yeah, she's just gonna look at Falin. She's gonna say, "Yeah, I'm sure that you are."
Motiva, I will give you something because I rolled recall knowledge for you. It is hard to connect some of the pieces that Flynn is saying. It could be theoretical stuff above your head. It could be the state that she's in. This is not generally how your friend acts. But what you know about the Immortal Sun and Ravnica and Ixalan is not particularly much. But through your research of planes and your connection to Ravnica, you do know that all three of those are key facets to Nico Bolas's War of the Spark. But details elude you. It wasn't something that you necessarily went down on, as a lot of your research was preparatory or survival based. Shooting a wide net, basically.
Motiva's gonna nod and say, "Okay, well, I know of these things, and I'm sure we can find somebody who could possibly guide us around or something. Maybe have an idea of what the hell you're talking about."
Yes, there should. I brought it to Onyx as soon as I could, and when I brought it to her, she asked to bring you there, which is why we are going. But
yes.
There is also this is kind of unrelated. Will had mentioned that there was a planeswalker at Ixalan who was invited to come to the school, and they never came. They never responded to the letter.
Yes. As is their choice.
So I am worrying. I am worrying about method of both entry and exit.
Are you worried we're going to get beaten to hell for being planeswalkers on Ixalan?
That is one of the worries, yes.
And then you're worried about Eleni being messed up because they are a planeswalker on Ixalan.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we simply have to be prepared for that. I'm going to be honest, even on other planes, there would be issues with being found as a planeswalker. Even on Ravnica, you wouldn't have a good time.
Yes, but this one has such a... There's planeswalker history fucking everywhere, but with Ixalan it is so... It feels so specific.
So violent.
Yes.
Anywhere a planeswalker goes, it ends up being violent, not good.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Are you?
As I have been blatantly learning, whether it is Against my will or not, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. And she's gonna drag Flynn and she's gonna get to Liliana's office.
Okay, all right, that was slay. You do that. You get back to Onyx's office. The door's still left open. And you see, as you come in, she is now sit back down in her chair. Her chair is back down, facing her desk. And she's sort of writing on papers and sort of shuffling through these sorts of like old parchments. Falin, by the time you come back, you see that she is no longer writing on your notes. And she looks up at the both of you and says to close the door.
She closes. She like kicks it.
All right. There is very documented history of Planeswalker connections to Ixalan. It will not be difficult to check as a plane. Your notes are as good a reasoning as any to try. Wildly doing forays into planes has not been as successful as some of your peers would like. And it's said with kind of like a bit of like a bite that Motiva I don't think that you take very kindly to. But she moves on pretty quickly and says, thankfully, one of your main worries is not a factor in this due to the relocation of the Immortal Sun and its deactivation. Planeswalkers can come and go from Ixalan.
Isn't it on Ravnica?
Yes, and deactivated. It is in the hands of a I believe the Senate, but I have not been in contact with Ravnica for a very long time. You would have better chances asking Vraska about it if you want to know more. And since I know you have her ear, I never went to Ixalan, but she did.
Do I? Do I have her ear? Do you?
You kind of do.
Yeah, Motiva like makes like she is sucking in her teeth, and she says, "I mean, I could try."
It's up to your comfort. Regardless, we can go without you having discussed it with her. You'll be on the ground, so whatever preparations you deem necessary is what we'll do.
Okay.
And she kind of gives you a look and goes to put aside some of her papers and sigh and kind of rub it her temple. Let me really quickly look at this thing really quick to refresh myself on exactly what I sent you. Sorry, Ash, if you were gonna have Motiva say something, you can.
No. I think she is putting all of her language into her body, and she's just like tapping her arm, and she's just like shrugging, like, yeah, you can look at me all you like. Motiva will say outright, though, like, it will be very hard to get Falin to Ixalan.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about.
I can't. Okay.
No one can. If what you were about to say was, can someone take her? So, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You, Ashan, and me could go at any point. Planeswalkers cannot take other people across the eternities. And even if they could, it is dangerous. It's deadly. So your options, and she looks at you, Flynn. This is one of the first times she's made eye contact with you, and it's not necessarily a good moment, right? It'll take a month and a half to make the same kind of scroll that we used to get back Ashan. And that will take you to exactly where they are, where you can get in and get out. If you give me another week, I can get you a scroll to get you on Ixalan. But it will have to be... There's no guarantee it will put you anywhere near them. Because we don't know where they are. This is the unfortunate effect of having Embers and Planeswalkers on extraction teams. So moving forward, you both will have to reconcile whatever plan we make.
Motiva is not looking at Flynn.
Flynn looks frustrated, but she is thinking. In order to plane shift somewhere, we need an item from that plane. Yes?
We need an item
if we were
from...
to just use...
We need an item from that plane, or we need the person making the scroll to be familiar with it. Which is why it will be... It's not technically quick in your eyes, I'm sure, but a week is not a long time to put together a spell that can take you across the plane. Because I know people who can do that sort of thing.
It is quick for a scroll, it is not quick enough for a Laney. Is there anybody who could potentially have an item from Ixalan? Anything?
Couldn't we potentially try to ask Guildmaster Kaya?
You see that she kind of quirks her expression a bit and say, you could.
I wouldn't. She points to Flynn and says, you'd have to do that.
Okay.
I will say, you may not have to look that far. Your best bets for getting an item kept from the incursions on Ixalan and the race for the Immortal Sun would be Vrosco or Jace.
Flynn looking to Motiva.
They played critical roles in the reclamation of the Immortal Sun. And you see that she says reclamation with, like, derision.
Yeah. Motiva's gonna stare, and she's going to say, I was hoping we could ask Kaya, because I don't imagine Kaya would ask Flynn to join the Orzhov Syndicate. Flynn will be made to join the Swarm if she does this, because it is her who would be needing this help. She would have to also ask on her own, and I'm not taking her to Crowsta.
Can you please talk to me? Like I'm here?
I am talking to you.
You're using she and her. You're talking to Onyx. You can say these things directly to me. You can use you.
Okay, Falin, are you willing? She like puts her hand in her head and she says, Falin, I don't want you to join a guild.
Okay.
I think she like rubs at her head and she's, I don't want you to join a guild. And it is for a good reason. You have a lot of ties here and you have a lot of ties in Exandria, so then you would be split 3 ways. Let alone if you did join the Syndicate or the Swarm, both of those guild leaders are planeswalkers and they can call upon you at any time. I especially wouldn't like the idea of you joining the Syndicate because I would probably have to fight you eventually.
Mhm.
But I will say the solution of join the Swarm won't work either. You are not made for that kind of work. And it is not me saying that you are not able to work. The reason I couldn't join Witherbloom is it was the Swarm for kindergartners. To put it very, very politely, you will not repeat that to another student in Witherbloom.
That's a really funny way to describe it. I'm sorry. That's really good.
Thank you. That's actually one of the reasons why I was just like, I don't think Majiva would want to join Witherbloom.
Woo!
It's nasty work. It's a lot of dead bodies. It's reclamation. And that's very violent work. I do not think that you are above using means to get what you want, but the guilds are nasty. If I had the choice to have gone back in time and become gateless, I would.
I would also like to not join a guild,
Oh, thank God.
if I can help it.
She like goes to like lean on Onyx's desk and she like has like she looks dizzy and she's just like,
Falin, you genuinely do not want to join a guild.
Yes, I do not want to join a guild.
end of discussion.
On that part, we can continue somewhere else.
If it is the last resort to get there as fast as possible, I might. You are already in a guild. Why can you not talk to Vraska?
To put it bluntly, Falin, she will not want to help you. She will not want to help Eleni. The deal I made with Vraska about if we found Eleni was Eleni would have had to join the guilds. They would have had to join the Swarm. My idea to prevent anything from going far with that was that Vraska at least doesn't know where Arcavios is, and I don't know if she's been to Theros.
I feel like Falin hears all that and she like pinches her eyes like she's having like a headache, and she like shakes her head and she's like, hang on. And she's like rubbing her temples. You don't want me to join a guild and yet you offered Eleni up?
To be fair, I think if Eleni ended up on Ravnica, they would have been snatched by somebody else anyway. Everything is seen there.
Okay, I'm going to put that aside.
Layers.
Don't blame me. Ask Chad about his secret police dad. I don't know.
Ravnica has many problems.
Onyx also makes like a snort
I can ask Froska. I can tell you right now, I know there will be a lot of citations to me getting a yes.
I think that while this conversation is happening, out of the corner of your eye, you guys see Onyx go to rub a hand kind of down her face and lets out this sort of like, almost like a laugh. And she goes to kind of mumble, even now he's always managing to be forgotten.
Motiva just shrugs and says, I don't know. I don't have that connection. I found that man in a dingy fucking station. I don't know where I'd find him again.
And he's far kinder than a lot of the other people you'll meet in Ravnica. He has his problems, but he really doesn't bite.
Is there any way to contact him?
He might be
Think
in his
very
office
loudly.
if you're lucky.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He
Wait,
is the
what'd she
living
say?
guild pact in his office.
It is.
And then she goes to say he is the living guild pact.
Oh, yes, the Living Guild Pact that's always there and very famous for always being in Ravnica.
It would be safer for you than Kaya. But if you want to pick your battles, like I said, I just thought it was a bit ironic. It's kind of his thing to affect how people see and remember him. So it was just a little funny. I will.
I can't go to his office. They will think I'm gonna mug him.
People have meetings with him. Maybe not fake.
I'm sure there are ways.
I do think that Onyx does speak up and say, though, even if you had an item, it may shave days off of the week that I told you, but it still won't be instant.
That's
I just
fine.
want to warn you about that before you get your hopes up.
We just need to get some kind of progress started as soon as we can.
Okay. Me and Deshaun can go first, and after we secure an item for you, she points to Liliana and says, you find however the hell you do that. And once it's secured, you and Flynn can join us.
Once I have an item, I can write the scroll myself. If that
And
kind of goal helps you.
I don't know how ever the hell that works still, so cool.
Lefay will be joining us.
Uh,
I can't just leave her here.
so we need 2 scrolls?
Is this just a regular plane shift scroll that you would be making? Looking at Onyx.
Yeah, so you would only need one.
Yes.
It depends on if your plan involves taking a small group or a large group, but it can take any number of people that you decide.
We could potentially try to divide and conquer.
We won't be dividing anything if you and Faye are coming.
Fair enough.
There should be 2 people who are sparked, at least, to follow after you guys. It would be very easy if Nefay was to spark for me to chase after her, and then I can just bring her back to Arcavios. And then I can just come back.
We could also. The 2 parties do not necessarily have to be me and the Fae, you and the Sean. It could be you and the Fae, Sean and me, or any other combination of one planeswalker per what was it you said? Ember?
Yes.
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 I am not allowed to split up from a Sean. I contractually can't.
Contractually.
I made a contract. He
With
found
a Sean?
yes. I told him about the vision that we saw with your divination spell. So I have made a contract with him. And she lifts up her hands to reveal her nails, which are suddenly not black anymore.
Aww. That was a wrench in the divide and conquer thing, but aww.
We're trying to prevent me from getting my throat cut out, and you have to say "aw."
Well, that's not what I'm saying aw to. But yes, together it is then.
I have a little wrench to throw in the gears really quick.
Oh yay!
I wanted to wait until a good dip in the conversation because the conversation is very good. But Falin,
Uh-huh.
this whole time you're sitting here, you're thinking. Your mind has been in overdrive for as long as you can stand to remember now. And it is so frustrating that you are the keystone that isn't fitting. You're the key that isn't turning. It settles in you like a stone that you are the reason this is taking longer than it could, right?
Mm-hmm.
Liliana earlier mentioned that that's because planeswalkers can't carry people over the blind eternities. You can't walk unless you're a planeswalker. You can't walk unless you're ignited. But Motiva yanked you past the threshold for even a moment. High risk, high reward, and controlled experimentation is your MO. You could try to almost fabricate your way into the blind eternities and try to hold off your own spark long enough to get them.
This is a dangerous idea you've put into this woman's skull.
It's a very dangerous idea, and I'll tell you it'll be really hard to do right. But it's an idea you're thinking about because it literally just happened.
Yeah.
You got all the way from Theros to Arcavios that way.
I
and
think
it will hurt you. But it's an option on the table.
Yeah, it is. For her, it is. I feel like as there's this like little kind of dip in the conversation, Flynn is thinking, and she looks to Motiva. She says, I have an idea. I don't think you're going to like it.
I already hate it.
Technically,
I hate this.
Hearing Falin say technically is already really bad.
Technically, you have taken multiple people when you have walked.
Oh my god. You mean I almost ripped you across the blind eternities and your soul got fucking thrown to shit? Yes, I am aware that happened. It was a terrible idea.
But it worked.
And it was awful. And I saw what happened to you after, and you're all... Flynn, can you look at yourself really quick?
I'm fine!
Motiva just looks at Onyx and just points. Like, it's the Will Smith meme, but she's just, this is what I have to work with. This stubborn bullshit. Are you kidding me?
I'll be careful this time. I've been there once before.
No.
I survived. I won't stay there as long. I won't be in the midst of a panic.
You sure will be fucking panicking after.
But that's fine. I'll recuperate.
Oh my fucking god.
Onyx
I'm
lets
a
out
healer. I
like
can heal myself.
Onyx lets out a sigh that sounds like a death rattle. I'm so for real right now. Onyx just puts her hands together and looks at the two of you. And looks at Motiva first and says, your best bet will be to find Jace because he will be very sympathetic to this cause. He will want to help you. It's one of his most annoying traits. But you... And then she goes and makes eye contact with you again, Flynn. If I made you stay here, you would try it anyway, wouldn't you?
Yes. 100%.
You shouldn't have fucking said that.
It's better to take in all of the information to begin with. Because then we can plan for your future fuck up. And then she's gonna look over at Motiva again and say, if you try that, tell Ashan to wait to walk until after you both are gone. That way, at the very least, he can find one of you afterwards. I want to keep you safe. It is not my job to protect you from killing yourself. This is the hill you die on. Good luck.
Motiva's gonna look to Flynn, and she's gonna say, come on. Let's go to Ravnica. Come on.
I feel like Flynn is just kind of staring at Onyx. And then whenever Motiva starts saying, come on, Flynn is just going to not look at Motiva, but just nod and kind of turn away like she's ready to go, but she's not moving until Motiva moves.
Motiva's going to start walking, and she's going to look to Onyx, and she's going to say, we'll be back in maybe a couple of hours. I'll tell you how it goes.
All right. I'll be here. I'll stay for that rendezvous, and I'll send some messages to some people.
Okay. She's gonna close the door very politely and say, see you later. And she's gonna take Flynn, and she's gonna keep walking. And she's gonna keep walking. And whenever they're like halfway down the hall, she's gonna look at Flynn and she's gonna say, I'm gonna tell William that you said that right now.
What?
I'm going to tell Will that you said that. And she's gonna hop on her broom and she's going straight to Prismari.
Oh my god! Flynn's running after her!
Oh my god.
She's gonna text Will something chaos.
Okay, yeah.
Nope. I'm beating him. I'm beating them. Hold on.
I'm gonna pause while you guys send those text messages because I have to use the bathroom, but this is great. Alright. You guys are trying to frantically get over to Prismari. How fast does your broom move, Motiva?
Let me tell you, because I will say, if it's a place that I know, which Motiva does know, it's even faster.
Yeah, because you have a command word.
Yes. It is 40 feet.
Oh yeah, Motiva's gonna leave you in the dust if you don't do anything. Like, it's not even you chasing right after her because your speed is just 25.
No, my speed is 30. And
okay.
plus, I have warp step innately.
Oh, okay.
And that brings my speed up to 35, but it also makes me dash, or stride twice, rather.
Okay.
In the same 2 actions.
Consider counterspell.
You
Fuck
only
you.
have a limited number of counter spells.
And I have unlimited warp step.
Do you?
Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yes! It's a
Oh
cantrip.
my god, that's a fucked up cantrip.
Isn't it fucked up?
That's fucking crazy.
I will say, I do think that, like, well, no. Yeah, because it's 2 actions, but then you stride twice within those 2 actions, so you can stride 3 times. So, like, you can, like, basically be, like, 5 feet behind Motiva at all times.
Yeah.
So Motiva will still win, but you're not being left in the dust.
I can move 100 feet per turn.
Yes, and then
if
Motiva,
I spend all 3 actions striding and 2 with warp step.
Yeah,
Sorry,
and then Motiva can move 120.
Yes.
Yeah. I would also like to add, I don't know how good Philin would be able to do this in her fatigued state, but I think it'd be kind of funny for Philin to try and find a shortcut of getting to Prismari faster in an attempt to circumvent or, like, get in front of Motiva in some way.
So that's really fun. I'm going to check exploration activities. I will say, if that is an exploration activity, you can't use it.
Mm-hmm.
But I may let you do a check if it's not an exploration activity. Oh, crazy. If you weren't fatigued, you could hustle.
Hustle, hustle, hustle.
Investigate. Okay, that is not an exploration activity. So what I'm going to say is I am going to let you make, I will say, acrobatics. Just know that the DC is going to be pretty high.
Fair and understandable.
Yeah. And the reason why it's acrobatics instead of something like perception is because, like, you need to be able to, like, register it, but then also, like, immediately start going for it, you know?
Let me go take a picture of this. Hang on, hang on. I'm just gonna send this in the chat room. Hang on, hang on.
Is it a 20?
No.
It would be really funny if it was a 1. Yes,
Nope.
it is! Oh, man!
The Philin dice just like, no.
No. And that bitch fatigued.
Okay. I have a little blurb for this that I think is very poignant for why this would be a critical failure. You are running after Motiva flying. This is a very... not necessarily underhanded in general, but to you feels like an underhanded tactic to try to hold you back from one of the only options that you feel could effectively cut this time in milliseconds. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the plan that doesn't seem like it's like necessarily the most successful sounding plan, but to you it's the best option you have. And you are running. You're trying so hard to be able to get there so you can argue your case before Motiva gets there. Make Will also an academic, also somebody who has to see reason. But you're tired. You start to like panic on the run, and it starts to make you hyperventilate. You turn a quick corner into an alleyway, and it kind of ends in this sort of twist and turn. Prismari as a campus is not very well designed because it's meant to be beautiful, it's meant to be passionate, and you lurch into this sort of corner between two buildings, and you almost feel rocked to your knees as you are absolutely overtaken with the need to vomit. I need you to make me a fortitude save.
You forgot you were preggers!
Yes.
Oh my fucking god, hang on.
Oh my god, is it another one?
No.
This is very in character if it is.
I purposefully did not use the Felin dice again, I used the fucking Lady dice.
Oh my god.
Yee.
You do it, and you feel your knees hit pavement, and you retch. And somewhere in the middle of it, hyperventilating, panicked, retching, you start crying. Alone in this alleyway on Prismari campus.
Man.
And I'm sorry if that's too emo or too harsh or too extra, but this is like what this moment feels like culminating to you, somebody who is only half able to use your reasoning. As you're reminded once again of another restriction that you have physically. You're pregnant.
It is very in character for her to start crying now, I think.
I think so as well. So I'm glad that doesn't seem like I'm being mean. So you take, I feel like, as long as you do to be able to even get back on your feet. But by the time you start going to the dorm again, you have to walk. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna be so for real.
Yeah.
I feel like after she has that fucking moment of like falling to her fucking knees, vomiting, and having the other reminder of what is fucking holding her back from all this, she's just gonna like move away from the vom and just like sit.
But you're back against like a wall.
Yeah. Eventually she would make her way to the dorms again, but she is going to take a while to just fucking sit there.
Do you think like an hour?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a good amount.
I think so too. I think you just sit there and you kind of just sit in your feelings and in your body for a minute that feels uncomfortable as everything sort of me and Ash use this word around the house a lot whenever we're like anxious or like everything is going wrong, but like it feels like the sky is falling, you know? And it takes you a long time to be able to get up and move, which means, Motiva, that when you get to the Prismari dorm, you are alone. What do you do?
Knock, 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 knock.
You really quickly get up to the door and you start banging on it, and it almost like flies open too quickly. Will looks like he might have actually been like on the way out of the door with like Rowan. You see Rowan in the room like sitting and sort of like looking bewildered at this before also looking bewildered at you. And he
too.
actually goes to like grab you by the shoulder.
Oh.
And he says, "What's happening?
Oh, Jesus.
Where is
Christ.
she?"
I don't know. She was running after me. Will, you need to listen to me really quickly before you fucking run off. She's going to try to convince you to do something really dumb. She's going to try and tell you that it is a good idea, and you need to know that it is terrible. You saw what she looked like. She's going to try and go to the Eternities. She's going to try and take that burden on herself because it's brilliant. She might have found where Eleni is. Genuinely. It's a really good... She, like, starts to breathe, and she's gonna, like, try to push his hand off her shoulder.
Okay. I think the longer you talk, the more frustrated he looks, but I think that he does eventually let you kind of like push his hand off of her.
She's gonna look to him, and she's gonna look to Rowan, and she's going to say, "You two are really important in this. I hope you know that. People are still going to look to you as planeswalkers, but more than that, you two have a pretty good head on your shoulders, despite what you may think, I believe. Having people here who are planeswalkers and can convince the Embers that everything can work will be really important. Valen doesn't believe it'll be okay. Valen wants results now. We have a million ways to do this, and all of them are going to take time, but she wants to get it done now. She's going to try and brave the Eternities all on her own so that all of us can get to Ixalan. I don't think I need to tell you two how bad of an idea that is.
I think that you see point blank a very interesting mix of emotions on his face. And a lot of it is frustration and anger and confusion, and then there's flickers of like sympathy, but also almost like self-pity. I feel like there is no element of this conversation that Will's face reacts well to. And by the end of it, the only thing that he says to you is, "I need to go find her." And I think that he's going to brush past you and leave. And you are left alone with Rowan. You see, as Will is no longer taking up the doorway, that they were in the middle of a game of chess. And you see her hands kind of are on the nightstand that they keep their chess set on. And you see her fingers kind of curl up as she kind of looks away from you, again having this really conflicted expression on her face. And she kind of mutters, "We didn't even hear that there were updates."
I was going to give you them. No matter what Onyx thinks, you two are involved in this as much as we are.
Okay.
I promise Valen didn't tell me first either. She went to Onyx too. I'm also hurt.
Fair enough, you know. She's the top dog. How's anyone else taking it?
There is a genuine moment of despair on her face as she just goes to sit next to Rowan and she puts her hands in her head and she says, "I don't know if Valen has told anybody else."
Well, I mean, We got walkers. Are you guys gonna do recon again?
Yeah, probably. Apparently, it's in Ixalan. The ideal is I go to Jace or Vraska, or she goes to Jace and I go to Vraska, and we get an item from Ixalan, and then a scroll gets made, but she's not patient. She's not willing to wait a week. And it's scary, Rowan. She's
Fair.
going to kill herself. You should have seen her.
I know.
I'm really scared that he's going to be weak about it, and he's gonna let her do it.
I guess the silver lining is that he can't. Not without me there.
I'm grateful for that. I'm sorry for. I know how you feel about your circumstances, but I'm really happy that you have him on a leash for this.
I think the waiting feels the worst, you know? When it happened to me and then when it also happened to you, we didn't feel the other side. I know that we both know that a couple weeks isn't. That's a really quick rescue. That's a really quick pickup.
Yeah.
But I also get that it doesn't feel like that when you're the one waiting. It's probably just getting to her.
I don't want to say that she should be grateful, but the other solution was wait a month for a scroll to take us directly to Eleni.
I don't think we're gonna know which would have been the best choice until afterwards. So we're just gonna have to make the decision that keeps morale high and losses down. That's the first thing they tell you about a battle. It's about outlasting, not always winning.
Have fun telling a cleric that.
If somebody was telling that to me, I also wouldn't accept it. I'd probably give them a bloody nose for it, but maybe I'll go try and tell some of the Embers on Recon team that there's a new goal. I think the update will make some of them feel more hopeful.
I think so too, but then I'm worried that they're all going to try and come with us to Ixalan, and we can't catch all of them if they all start popping off. The ideal was only bringing Nefei and Falin so that there could be one planeswalker still on Ixalan, at least, and then 2 people who can chase after them. If they go. That's why I wanted you guys here, because if Falin popped in the middle of everything, I could bring her back here with you two.
So
same
you're
with
telling
Nefei.
us to sit out too?
No.
No.
I'm asking you guys to be the wall. To make sure that nothing I'm I'm so worried about everybody. Eleni, the good thing about me and Ashan sparking was that not a lot of people cared about us. And I know, but Eleni's really popular. Everybody loves Eleni. If everybody finds out that Eleni is hurt, or worse, dead, there's gonna be a lot of reactions, and I need somebody there to take count. And I mean, hell, she's gonna like look at Rowan's stuff and she's gonna like point to the cloak and she's going to say, even if you two follow after somebody, I could find you guys if I have a memento. You guys are the ones on the front lines. We're the ones running.
Nativa, this sucks.
I know.
I think she's gonna actually put an arm around your shoulders.
She's gonna lean on Rowan and she's gonna mess with the chess set.
I don't think she says anything else after that. And I think that the air is so heavy in this room. But I don't think you come away from this conversation thinking that she disagrees with you. I think that whether it be through being worn down or her own worry or the people around you's slowly going respect for your thoughts and decision making, she doesn't seem to have the energy to argue with you anymore.
Damn.
Flynn, I think by the time Will finds you, you are already up and walking around. I feel like one of your first things that you did whenever you were like, okay, well, now I have to get to the dorm room, is to kind of get to one of the main streets to go over to the dorms. A walk you've done many a time. You're very familiar with this campus, specifically for Will. And it's not that you don't notice before he's on you. But even though it's registering in your head, I feel like there's so many other things happening that it's almost like your body can't react fast enough before he puts his hands on your shoulders and kind of takes in how you look. Before going to wipe at your face. Whatever he was about to say, kind of drying up on his throat. How do you think you're feeling? What do you think you're thinking? What do you think you're doing?
So, I feel like, emotions-wise, I think Vlad is having an interesting time, a la Consecution. Because what she's feeling is kind of a mix of the grief of a lover and a person who has spent the majority of their lives being in charge of and taking care of a group of people.
Yeah.
Combined with the petulance of a young person who has just realized they cannot do the thing that they want to do.
Yeah.
I don't think she's actively crying anymore, but it is definitely. She doesn't want the world to be happening right now.
Yeah. I honestly don't even know if he says anything to you yet. I think he just pulls you to him. I think his arms are around your shoulders, and I think that he is cradling you. And it doesn't matter that you're in the middle of this street on campus, surrounded by people who don't have to feel this way. Surrounded by people who will never know what it feels like to feel this way. You might as well be alone. Because that's what it feels like.
I feel like she lets him hold her willingly, and but I feel like she doesn't necessarily respond.
Okay.
And she will stay like that for a bit, and at some point she will kind of mumble or mutter in a way that sounds very like numb. Just saying, I'm supposed to help them.
We're going to help them.
I don't know if I can.
Oh, fuck. I think that he is going to try to almost steer you, I think, to maybe the edge of the street so you both can sit down. I think he sets you down and he sits down next to you. And there's this very interesting moment, I think, that's happening with Will specifically. And I feel like you are perceptive enough and you know Will enough to kind of pick up on this. But it's not that he doesn't know what to do in like an awkward way. There is the frustration of impotence and knowing, you both know in this moment that there is nothing he can do to help you right now. There is nothing that he can do to make either of you feel better about what's happening. And he is going to kind of say in a voice that is very delicate, but it's a tone that I think you recognize as Zavine, but it's a tone that is very gentle, almost in a way that you would talk to a child or someone who's scared. And he goes, Motiva told me that you found that they might be on Ixalan. That's a really big help. Search parties have been going out to all of these different planes that we can focus on now if we have the means, once we get the resources together.
It's been so long already. I don't want to have to wait another month just to find them.
Some people don't get helped for years. And see that he tries to pick his words really carefully when he says this. We have to hope that they're strong enough. Because we know people who have survived worse when they smirk. And it's not going to be easy, but it doesn't feel like this, but this is very fast. This is a very good sign. The chance that they'll be okay will be so much higher in a week, a couple weeks, a month than it would be if we had to wait for them to leave on their own.
I feel like Fullen actually tries in a way that is kind of frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, why does everyone talk like that? All planeswalkers are dangerous. All... Let's just be lucky that it's taking so fast. It's still taking time. It's still dangerous. It doesn't make it any less worrying.
I know. I thought you were gone at the beginning. It's been a lot of waiting for a lot of people. And every moment feels hard. It feels so hard. I don't have the strength or the power or the ability to make this easier or faster. So all I can give you are words, and hopefully they can help you not think that they're dead. I'm far less useful than you are right now. So I'm sorry that I can't give you more than that.
I think... kind of looks at him for a bit. And then she's gonna kind of like shuffle so that she's like in front of him where he's sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to put her hands on his shoulders.
Uh-huh.
And she's just going to say, "You've been worried too." And she's going to hug him.
I think this time whenever he hugs you, it's less like cradling glass. And I feel like he squeezes you a bit. And I think he's gonna kind of just repeat this thing that he said earlier. And I think that you now have the clarity that this is something that he has to tell himself too, and what he probably had to tell himself last year when Motiva and Sean were gone. We just have to hope. We have to believe that they are strong enough. We have to believe in these people that we care about.
You're right. It's gonna suck to do, though.
I don't know why I thought after last year that this one would be easier.
I don't don't think any of them will be easier.
No. Come on, let's get you off the ground. I think that Will is actually going to probably walk you to the dorm room. If you have an objection to that, being reunited or being taken to his room specifically, you can definitely say so, but I think that he is mostly just tired, and I think that Will is a person that seeks out community like that. I think that he would want to go back to the room with his sister and have you reunite with Motiva.
She would go along with that.
Okay. You're walked back over, and Motiva, your time with Rowan has kind of devolved into that same sort of like quiet. It's comfort, but it's tinged with commiserating, because nothing either of you can do can really make the other feel better about the situation. So all you can have is contact and understanding. And Will brings up a bedraggled but calmer Flynn. And I think that Will goes to kind of heave himself over, taking Flynn with him if she goes, but he's gonna go sit back in his spot across the chess table from Rowan, but doesn't seem particularly interested in moving any of the pieces anymore.
Motiva puts out the pieces that she stole that were in her back, and she puts them back on the board.
Motiva eating the pieces.
Yeah, crunch.
We gotta have our jokes. The vibes in this room are rancid. How are we feeling?
I feel amazing.
Yeah, I as Sarah feel fucking phenomenal.
I love this. This session's really good. That's we've had an entire hour and a half of uninterrupted. Oh my god.
Bangers.
Yeah, bangers after bangers. Yeah, go ahead.
Motiva's gonna look to Bolin, and she's gonna nod, and she's going to say, "Are you willing to come with me to Ravnica so we can try to talk to the Guild Pact?"
Yes.
Okay. If I talk to Vraska, I will ask you not to be there, just for the sake of getting rid of any risk of you being asked to join the swarm.
She nods.
That is our second resort. I don't think we'll have to do that. And the Guild Pact cannot show favoritism towards a guild, so he will not be able to do something like that to you. I know that it is going to take time, but I think that most of all, we should have faith in Eleni surviving.
I feel like Flynn huffs like an echo of a laugh in a way that's kind of like bittersweet, and she kind of nods her head towards Will and she says, "Don't worry, he already told me."
Okay. It would be a disservice to say that Eleni can't handle this. We just have to do what we have to do, and then we catch them. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. She's going to take out her phone, and she's going to text Sean, and she's going to look to Valen, and she's going to say, "Can you text Chad and ask him about getting a scroll to around..." She takes a second and she rubs her phone against her head like it's a massager, and she just says, ask him about getting a scroll to take us around. His place.
She will nod and take out her phone.
I hope you like, Sarah, that every time you go to Ravnica, you have to go to Chad's house first.
I hate his
It's
house.
really cool.
Hate that house. Hate that house. Hate that house.
This session's so tasty. Friday's gonna fuck so hard.
Uh-huh.
By the end of this session, I need to know, like, down to the detail what your plan is for extraction, by the way.
Oh, 100%.
Slay. That's what this is for. This is getting ready so I can write it.
After she sends the text, she's going to look up and say, I have to tell the others, or at least Nefei.
Let's wait until we get an item first.
Why?
I can calm you down. I don't know if I can calm Nefei down.
Fair.
If we tell Nefei that we have an item that will get us to Ravnica, If we tell Nefei whenever we have the item to take us to Ixalan, we'll get them ready to walk, quote unquote, in a week. That will be better than we're going to try to ask two planeswalkers very politely who are strangers to give us an item, and maybe it'll be a week. How well do you think that will go?
Not well, but to be honest, I think it would go worse if she found out that we didn't tell her as soon as possible.
You didn't tell me as soon as possible.
The only reason I didn't do that was because I went to Onyx literally, I cannot stress this enough, literally as soon as I realized I was going to come to you next and then everyone else. I cannot speak to everyone all at once as much as I would like to.
Okay. You can tell Nefei, but it is your job to make sure that she stays calm. I can't stress enough that the biggest worry here is other people sparking. I trust you to keep a calm head. I don't know Nefei that well. If you can try to predict how she'll react and make sure that she doesn't become her worst self, I'll trust you to do it. I shouldn't, though.
Yes,
And
I
you
was
can-
already.
Whom?
I was planning to be the one to tell her.
I'm sure you were going to do it with or without my permission anyway.
She kind of gives a tired smile. She says, "You know me so well."
Mm.
Chad! Can I-
There's the boy.
Panini, can I read this text out loud?
Yes.
He says, I'll grab a scroll and we can meet up at the common room. You've been working hard. I'll bring snacks.
Quandrix
Aw.
emoji.
Quadrix emoji. Yeah, Phelan will also tell the others and confirm that Chad is going to bring a scroll to the common room.
Banging. Are you counting the words?
Yeah, because it has to be 25 or less. Which you didn't make yours 25 words, but that's okay. I'll get you later about it.
I don't know. Kill me. Shoot me. I'm excited.
We don't have time for math.
It is really asinine to have to count the words. I wish that there was like an add-on for Discord to do it.
Yeah, that honestly, I'm so for real. That's why I split my message to Chad into 2 separate messages, because like I don't want to count that.
God, you're so valid. I only count the ones that I know are really long. Also, as an aside, because I'm talking about the text I just sent from Ashan, I really like that I gave Ashan, instead of saying like okay or like yeah, just saying heard, because that's something I learned in the serving industry. That's a funny text. I like it. Okay, Slay. Okay. Yeah, Slay. Okay.
Arnar.
This is where I have to ask you guys if you guys are going like basically right now. I will say, I don't think Will is gonna want to leave the both of you right now. So he's gonna try to go with you to the common room meetup, but you can probably tell him no, but you'll have to tell me how you're convincing him to stay.
Motiva's gonna look at Phelan, and then she's gonna look at Will, and she's gonna like look to Rowan and she says, if Will is coming, and so is Rowan, and I swear to God, if you try to come with us to Ravnica, you need to tell your sister. And if you try to tell me, oh, I never said that I would be coming to Ravnica, I'll bite you.
Hey, roll me a coerce.
Oh my god!
Oof. That was really high. What's my intimidation? Yikes. Hold on.
I know your intimidation is crazy fucking good.
I also rolled really crazy good. 29.
Okay. Oh my god, okay. Okay, Slay. So I feel like there's this moment where Will looks like he's gonna argue, and then Rowan looks like she's gonna argue. But I feel like... Ooh.
I want to add, Motiva's going to say, you guys can come if you want. I just want proper communication here because this is a really big group of planeswalkers in Ravnica, and that's going to be really ugly.
If you're gonna add that, you actually should change that to a diplomacy roll. I don't know if that changes your...
same roll?
You can keep your roll, but the bonus has to be different.
My diplomacy. My diplomacy is actually higher. So it would be 31.
Wow. Hello?
Hello.
I'm
Oh,
formulating.
okay.
The Mind Palace.
The Mind Palace.
The mind is palacing.
The mind is palacing. Discord has been disconnecting me from calls, so I'm...
Mood.
Mhm.
Big mood. Big mood. Discord is a functioning application.
The sharks are eating the internet wires.
Yeah!
That's me. I'm the shark eating the internet wires. I need some
Don't
more.
eat the internet wires.
I need to top up my supply. Anyway. I still think that Will would look like he's gonna argue, but I think he's gonna fall short, and then I think he gives you a look that's kind of hard to read, but I think he kind of goes to sit down, kind of signaling to you that he isn't going to go with you.
Okay. She motions to the twins, and she says, "Please, don't let Nefay or Salva eat Ashan's head. I'm so serious."
I feel like that makes Rowan kind of give a crooked smile and a huff of a laugh and say, "Hard ask."
You know, you think it wouldn't be.
With those two? Hold on. Oh man, hold on. I have to check something.
Oh.
Hold on. Okay. Everybody has forgotten a very crucial fun fact about the room you're in.
That's right!
I don't know anything. What about the room?
Well, we're on Prismari campus. Nefay is on Prismari campus.
Felin, you would know, basically, the room is right next to Will and Rowan's, Eleni and Nefay's
Yeah.
room. Exactly right next to them.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have Felin say what I was going to say before we left. She's gonna look to Motiva and say, I'm going to go tell Nefay before we go to Quandix.
Uh-huh.
You can go ahead if you want. I'm not entirely sure how long this is going to take.
Yeah, dude, have fun with that.
She's gonna look at the window and she's gonna start climbing over the chess set and she's gonna hop out on her broom.
Nice.
You will not be catching me in the halls.
Smiley face.
Felina's gonna go next door.
Okay, awesome. Whenever you go to open the door to leave the Kenrith room, before you've even closed the door, Nefay's door actually opens and she looks at you. And it's not like a startled look, like you imagine she came out here to investigate that she was hearing noise.
Faye's gonna close Nefay. Felina's gonna close the door to the twins' room. And is gonna walk over to Nefay and say, we have updates.
She just holds the door open for you to come into, her and Lainey's room.
She is not going to waste any time. She is going to basically share everything she knows right now, the lead that they have.
Before you go too far, I actually wanted to say, if you walk in the door, she closes the door and immediately says, tell me everything you told them. In exactly that tone. So now you can do that.
She does that.
Okay, Slay.
Motiva, I believe Chad and I are about to go to Ravnica to get items that would be from Ixalan, so that Onyx can make a spell scroll to teleport there.
So they're there, definitely.
Yes. Well, it's the absolute best lead we have. It's the one that has the most likely chance of them being there. So to me, it is as good as yes.
Okay.
And I have told the others that we will not be going to Ixalan without you. I presumed you would want to be there with us.
Okay, good. I don't have to worry about that later. Oh, would she say that? Would she say it like that? I think that she's gonna kind of like look at you, and I think something really interesting about her face whenever you said that is that she doesn't actually look that thankful, because her resting expression is kind of like this quiet, like indignant, almost like resistant kind of look. And she says like okay, I don't have to fight for that later, and she kind of like looks away, and her next comment is at least somebody's thinking to tell us. I think a lot of people here forget that we're on the ground too.
Yes, there has been a bit of an imbalance in communication, I have noticed, and I'm not very happy about it. I was intending to start trying to tell others the updates as well, but it looks like we're going to be leaving as soon as possible to get these items. Would you be able to tell people?
Yeah, I'll at the very least the people who are keyed in. Not everybody has their ear to the ground, and that's fine, but if we know a direction, then we don't need to be jumping to places and wasting time.
Yes. Thank you.
Stay safe out there. And I think that she's gonna open the door for you to leave. I don't think that she immediately like pushes you out, but I do think that it is kind of like a natural conclusion of the idea of like, oh, we're immediately gonna go do this thing, and she's like, okay, go do that thing.
Yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I do think before she leaves, in response to Nefei saying "be safe out there," Falin responds with "you too."
No promises.
As safe as you can.
As safe as they are. And she kind of clicks the door closed behind you.
Ah.
Thank you.
Flynn will pop her head into the twins' room just to say goodbye, be back soon, before leaving.
Yeah, you definitely do that. The vibes are still rancid, but you can definitely do that just to give them another clarification that you're going. And we go over to Motiva. Motiva, this means that you're going to be at the Quandrix common room first. So you roll up, and Chad is... So the way that the Quandrix like common rooms work is it's each floor has like this separate section that has like the stairs in the middle. But then like all of the corners around the doors have like bookshelves and like little tables and little armchairs. So it's not like a huge like setup like you could get at any of the eateries, but you see that like one of the tables now has multiple of the chairs kind of dragged from other tables, and it's kind of like, it's like a really small table. Like I want to say it's like maybe like 4 foot by 4 foot table. But it is laden with snacks and some meal things that are like quick to eat, but like not super messy, because you see tucked in the front pocket of his jeans is a little delicately folded up spell scroll. And he goes to see you come up, Motiva, obviously alone at this point, and he goes to kind of give you a smile. Um, it's not like Chad wasn't as worried as other people, but there is like this sort of level of like who is more optimistic and who is pessimistic of the planeswalkers and the embers. I think that that's like a thing that you would have picked up by now since it's been a couple weeks. um you know this man, and you can tell that he seems genuinely excited to see you visit, um and kind of like gestures to a chair, and he waves his scroll and says, "Oh, like I got it ready. Like Felin said, I'm really happy to hear that you like have news. Like that's really good. That's so much faster than it was last time."
Motiva's gonna go to Chad, and she's gonna lean on him.
Mm-hmm.
She's just staying there.
Yeah, he puts an arm around your waist and kind of like pulls you a little bit so you sit on like the arm of his armchair. And you're basically like sharing a seat a little bit, which I think is really cute. And he delicately tries to hand you little fries and little pickled tubers.
She just starts nibbling.
But as he kind of like is like trying to like chit chat with you, and you're kind of just like quietly nibbling and leaning on him, Felin, you also show up to a similar like welcome, where he shows the scroll and like tells you to come over and sit. And there is like the same snacks that he promised, like hearty things, not just like chips, but like things that like could fill a belly but aren't as daunting as a full meal. And he gestures for you to sit, and I would love to hear what you guys are gonna say to him, because he hands you over the scroll, but seems again very keyed into actually having this be an interaction.
I definitely think Felin is going to thank him both for the food and the scroll.
Mhm.
And unless Motiva has anything to say, Felin is just going to start diving into the update that she has.
I think Motiva's just gonna drop the bomb of like we're going to try and ask the Living Guild Pact for an item to take us to Exelon, and then motion
Uh-huh.
to Felin to Felin to play.
Yes, so
What?
what starts going off?
Chad looks like, I feel like what's really funny about that opener is that it derails basically any other part of the conversation, because obviously he's interested and be like, oh my god, yeah, there's an update. We know what plane it is. That's really cool. Again, that's so much faster than it was last year. Blah 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 blah. But with the Guild Pact, you're gonna go talk to the Guild Pact. You're gonna go. You know, I forgot you met Jace.
Motiva does a nod and she says, "You're right. It did." She just nibbles on a pickle and she says, "The other option is asking for Asuka, because apparently she was on Ixalan, and I don't know. I don't think I have to say anything to that."
I mean, but they're gonna help, right? They both, I mean, have gone through like the same thing. They're planeswalkers. Like, why wouldn't they want to help us?
Vraska doesn't mind the idea of planeswalkers living, but she doesn't like the experiment that we're doing.
Oh.
It's just unnatural. She does quotes.
I guess. I mean, she is the Golgari Guildmaster. I guess it's not. I guess it's not that cruel. It just feels sad.
Yeah. It isn't like she would like. I don't think anybody needs to hear any words of that could feel demoralizing. I'm not saying that like she wouldn't give us anything, but I think she would have words. Also, I can't take Felinda to Corozda.
Oh yeah, guild stuff. That makes sense. They take that stuff really seriously, and he looks over to Flynn when he says that.
Yes, I am aware of this. I try to avoid it if I can.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. Like, if you really want to join a guild, you like really need to be sure, because like the minute you like quit to like join another one, like people are really weird about it.
I can imagine. I would be fascinated to see any studies on the like psychology of the guilds or something.
Yeah, because it's like a loyalty thing. Like, it's like, I mean, you're not always born into a guild necessarily, unless like your family's like really high up, and like people like can move around in them and stuff. But like I mean, your guild is just like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
It's
a
supposed
part
to
of your
say
identity.
everything about you.
Yeah, and it says stuff about like how you handle problems, or like your ideals. Your like if I mean, like, you have to like your guild so much that if like it's them, or like your family in another guild, like your guild is supposed to come before that. I mean, it's usually not that serious, but like that's how serious they take it. So like when you like leave, it's like, well, now you don't look like you can be trusted anymore.
Oh, you mean how your dad got mad? You thought you were shacking up with a Golgari girl?
Ha, yeah. Well, that was I mean, that wasn't like a loyalty thing. It's kind of just because he thinks they're trashy. It would look bad, I guess. Well, I don't think you're trashy though. But he probably does think you are, though.
Motiva just looks at us. Just, do I look bad, Carol?
Don't do that. That's creepy. it's a whole thing. I'm sure Motiva could tell you about it. I'm sure you could ask about it. There's probably books on it. But basically, you shouldn't join a guild until you're ready.
I will take that to heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, or else Chad's dad might commit guild racism against you.
Probably a better word would be a microaggression. Because it's not like a race thing. It's like a class thing.
Oh my god.
But I guess it's not a class thing technically, because it's not like any one guild is more important than the others, even though a lot of them guilds tend to think that they're the most important one, but it's kind of like written into the magic of the world that no guild can be stronger than any of the other ones.
So is
They've
Xenophobia a
all-
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like maybe like that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, because even like a caste also has like a hierarchical thing. Yeah.
Don't
He
worry.
like smiles.
To get into the cast thing, you have to actually join the guild first.
That's true also. Because
I'm
then there's
content to be
the
an outside
levels.
observer.
It's messy.
There's a very good reason I don't want you involved in it.
Yes.
If you're not sure, it's better to stay gateless.
It's a very proud community. I think you do all of it.
She looks to Chadster and she smiles and she says, "Am I gonna get sniped the second I appear in front of the towers?"
Dude,
I've never seen it.
you mean the office?
The office? Is it an office?
I
don't know.
He has
I'll-
an office.
I thought it was near the Senate Hall.
The Guild Pact?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not a new prov at all. That would be favoritism. If the guild pact was too, the guild pact can't be too aligned with any of the guilds, because it's like a whole thing.
Where would it be then?
I can tell you right now. Let me open up my little map. I got my Ravnicle map.
Ravnicle. Oh, also, I meant like Motiva saying to Chad, like, "Am I gonna get sniped whenever we land in front of your house?"
Oh, no, I mean, people might think it's weird that you're there, but like, nobody's gonna like snipe you. That's weird. I mean, it's not like you can choose to teleport anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yee, Ravnicle time.
Ravnicle.
I'm trying so hard to find this map.
I believe in you.
Oh, big silly. Of course, it's because it's in my map folder. Where did you go? Where did you go? Ravnica. Ravnica, where are you? What the heck? Ravnica map 10th district. Give me the 10th district map. Give it to me. Give me it. Give me it. Open image in new tab. Give me it. Okay. I'm looking for it. I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah, okay, awesome. So that's what I thought. So his office is actually in the Chamber of the Guild Pact. It is near the Transguild Promenade, which is kind of like this big. There's like 2 big roads that run through the center of like the 10th district, which is the kind of like where it's like the capital for Ravnica. It's like where all of the really important guild halls are. But it is near. It's near the 10th District Plaza, which is like near the south end of District 10, kind of. Like it's like near stuff. Like it's technically near like Orzova, but like that's not like the same thing as it being like a part of it. So it's actually pretty far away from New Prov.
How long would it take us to get there?
Walking? Maybe like... It's not really a straight shot, so maybe like 2 hours, but like I'm sure you could like hire like a Griffin taxi for faster. But then you would only have to go like y'all two, because Griffins can't carry that many people.
I could take a broom.
That's true.
Oh, then that should be easy peasy. Then yeah, then Flynn could get a Griffin taxi and you could fly with the Griffin. Yeah. Yeah, then that would be like, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes tops. New Prov isn't that far away from like the plaza. I'm gonna show you a snap. So basically, you would be going from here to here. Shoop. Ascend in the picture. And this far.
Wow.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Peas. Also, flying
Yes,
from New
please.
Prov would be really easy because New Prov is kind of like on this like elevation situation. All of Ravnica has weird elevation issues, but like that's me above table telling you, and it's because you know that like it's just built on top of city, on top of city, on top of city, on top of city, and there's no dirt anywhere.
Yeah, no dirt allowed.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like the layout and the plan. If you guys want to do that after this, I can pause and we can take a little snack break and I can change over the reactive images, and you guys can go over to Ravnica.
Yeah.
Slay! I'll press pause. Alright, and we're back. And it is... You don't even have the benefit of saying it's the next day. Within an hour, you all have made a breakthrough, and all of the emotions that have come through the frustrating road ahead of you. But you have pulled together and come to a plane that you both are pretty familiar with, I would say. You pop in, not even having to bat an eye at the sensation of plane shifting anymore. And you drop in a luxurious hallway with carpet in front of a couple different doors, penthouses. The one in front of you recognize as being Chad's. But thankfully, when you use these scrolls, you don't appear inside the person's house. So you can pretty quickly scuttle away and out of the towers of New Prov. After that, it's very easy. Well, it's not super easy when you don't know what to look for, but having already been keyed up by Chad, you can talk to people on the street and look around long enough to wave down one of the Griffin Riders that operates as taxi in Ravnica proper. And you take the 30 minutes to fly over to the Chamber of the Guild Pact. It's in this sort of... Everything in Ravnica is built from the same, like, stone, right? It's like this white stone with this very, like, regal Gothic style architecture almost. A lot of gables, a lot of steeples, a lot of edges, rounded domes. And you come to this one and it's almost like greenish, as it's like this sort of like rounded dome of a building suspended over a pit, with these sort of walkways and stairways that take you to and from. Motiva, it reminds you almost of the castle in Corozda. And you see that people are coming to and fro, but most of the people here look like they are here on business. You guys are a little underdressed. But that's not even on your mind right now, truly. So here I would like to ask, as you guys sort of split off with your two missions, who would like to go first? Since you guys are talking to different people, they will be one-on-one conversations.
Looking at Motiva.
Look on it, Sarah.
If there's anything you guys would also do here, like get coffee or that sort of thing, a newspaper, you definitely can do that. Those are options here in the big city.
I do think Motiva would grab some papers to see what's been going on since she's been gone.
Yeah, definitely. We can definitely do that. Sorry, looking at my notes. Oh, okay, Slay. So, in the papers right now, it's not technically today, but a lot of the articles actually are about that it's actually about to be a new year in Ravnica. Ravnica has a different year length than Arcavios and some other planes do. I actually keep track of all of the calendars separately, because some calendars of planes are shorter, right? But it's about to be a new year in Ravnica, which means it is about to be this holiday that basically celebrates the signing of the Guild Pact. It's not like a big one necessarily. Like, it's not like the Decamillennial, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's not going to be anything like the Decamillennial. But, like, it is really nice to, like, have them, like people are trying to, like, bring back that sort of celebration, and it's like it's a lot of like talking about that. Motiva, you would also have the context with like the signing of the Guild Pact, New Year's like celebration type thing. The Decamillennial is the reason why there's even a living Guild Pact, because the Guild Pact got destroyed. So a lot of people are like, oh, you know, like it's a great time to party and it's technically a really good holiday, but also we're still really stressed out that a couple years it went really bad, and also we're rebuilding from the War of the Spark. But like, come on, guys, come on,
Yours.
Come on!
plain pride, you know what I mean, that sort of thing, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot of stuff like that and people giving their opinions on it. And I know that that's kind of disjointed, but it's because you're reading a lot of articles from different people that are technically saying different but similar things.
Yeah. No, definitely though.
That's the thing about Ravnica. There's 10 ways to say one thing. Because there's 10 guilds.
Haha. I think Motiva would take her sweet ass time. I think she's reading a paper. I think she's grabbing some snacks to bring back that maybe she missed having. She knows she's probably been seen anyway, so she's taking her damn time.
Yeah, 100%.
I do think Flynn would look to Motiva and Chad and say, so how exactly does one...
Oh, Chad did not come with y'all.
Back?
I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Looking to Motiva then. How exactly?
How exactly?
Would he just be in the office? It seemed like that would not be likely. Is there a way of...
No. We just have to go, see if he's there, and if he's not, I go to Corozda and you hang out in a park.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
All right, you guys go up through some of these little stairs and walkways over to this sort of building that is the Chamber of the Guild Pact. And it's pretty big inside. And it has like a lot of people milling around. I would compare it to how busy New Prov was, with people running around with stuff to do. And a lot of these people look like they're dressed like they're pencil pushers. They're people who work here all the time. They're secretaries. They're bureaucrats. They're people who keep track of the papers and the numbers and the this and the that, right? And they're running around a lot. And you eventually kind of get pushed and pulled to like different sectors, because I assume you're like opening with like oh, is there a way we can get a meeting with the Guild Pact, you know, that sort of thing, right? And it's somehow everybody else's jurisdictions but them, you know? So I would like somebody or both of you to roll me a diplomacy.
Ooh.
There hasn't been enough numbers in this.
Hold on. Let me see what Bob. Just 1 second.
I got a 16 total.
Slay.
Oh my god.
That's just your bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, because I rolled a 7 and my diplomacy right now is +9.
Oh, I was saying till like Ash, because I think Ash's bonus is +16.
I rolled 29.
Yeah, sorry, I thought you said one or both of you, so I was like, okay.
Oh, yes. Both of you can. I thought it was funny that you rolled a total that is like Motiva's bonus. I just thought it was funny. I was just making a joke.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I misunderstood. It is funny.
You got a what? 20-something?
I got 29.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I think how this plays out is it's not even that you're doing poorly, Philin. You are being very polite. You're obviously not getting annoyed with anybody. You're saying the right things. You're being very mild. You're doing things how you would have tried to talk to like an official in any capacity back in the Kryn Dynasty, which is like technically very fine. But the people here seem like too busy to even interact with you about it. And how Motiva ends up putting a boot in the door is literally just being impossible to ignore. I don't want to say like that Motiva's making herself a problem for people, but it's like a situation of like, if you don't act like you're allowed to be here, they will push you out. And I feel like a lot of like what actually gets you through this interaction is Motiva doing that and knowing how Ravnikins like interact, and then also name dropping you both. At some point, it's like if you can pass on a message that we want to see XYZ something Falin and Motiva, right? That's what finally gets something changed. And it doesn't change it immediately to your face. It's passed on and you're passed around, and it takes like about an hour while you're in here, which is not like terribly long to wait, but it is like a long time to be dealing with the situation before somebody comes and gets you. Let me find their description really quick, because it's a real NPC.
What?
Motiva just looking at Falin while they're getting passed around, just like, this is bullshit.
Bureaucracy.
Oh, God.
Bureaucracy, my beloved.
Awesome. Yeah. So you see that you're kind of like approached very rapidly by this woman. Motiva, you're pretty tall. She out like classes you in height by a couple inches.
Jesus.
She is wearing a gleaming silver armor and has her dark hair like cropped really short, like not buzz, but like just a step above it. You know what I mean? And she comes up and she looks at you, kind of takes in your appearance. You are very proudly displaying that you're a member of Golgari, right? And then kind of glancing at you, Falin. And she goes to sigh and say, "You had an appointment?"
Oh, yes?
All right. Follow me. And you see she kind of turns on her heels and starts walking away. Not really like slowing down for you guys, but she kind of cuts through these waves of people. People are moving out of her way as she moves through this space.
Ooh.
And she is going to kind of take you into one of these like side hallways. Until finally she comes to sort of a like a sitting room. I would compare it to maybe like a parlor room, but a little less decorated. It's not exactly an office, but it's a place meant to like sit down and talk in. And she's going to sit you down, and she's going to cross her arms and look at you, Motiva, and say, "For your information." And you see it's like she thinks of like a really delicate way to say this. Oh, hold on. I have to figure out how I'm going to word this statement.
You can word it as much as you want. Immediate stink face.
Mhm. I think she's just gonna kind of look at you, and she crosses her arms as she kind of looks down at you. I assume both of you sit. If you guys didn't, that's fine. She stands by the door. And she says, I will have to go and collect the Living Guild Pact, but for your information, next time you'd have better chance getting his attention at his apartment.
Oh.
Immediate fucking nasty face. She just looks. Oh my god, I can't say that.
Yeah?
Motiva's just gonna look and just. Do I look like a mistress or something? I don't know his apartment.
Oh, my apologies. Your appointment got bumped up because I have a handy list of friends of Jace contact if they ask for him. I thought you would know where it is.
Now she just looks confused, like openly.
But that's none of my business. I'll go get him, since that's my job. I was
I'm
just
so
trying to give
sorry.
you advice. Next time it would be faster. He doesn't spend a lot of his time unless he's working in here.
Thank you for the heads up.
What she said.
She goes to look at you, Flynn, and she goes to give you a little bow of her head and says, "You have very nice manners."
Oh, thank you.
I'll show you this lady.
Yes.
I'm trying to find a good picture. There we go. This is a good one. Oh, no, it's so blurry, please.
Oh, don't you love old magic art just being blurrier than hell?
It sucks a lot, too, because I don't always like every piece of art of a character. So I want to use a very specific card art. Okay, this one. Multimedia. Here she is. That's what she looks like.
Damn.
Ooh. Hello?
Yeah, she's fine.
Ma'am, are you free on Thursday? Oh, actually, Flynn would speak up and say, "Oh, on the topic of manners, apologies. I am Flynn. What is your name?"
Motiva's gonna look to Falin and she's gonna say, "You're not supposed to ask that.
Oh.
You're supposed to act like you know them. For the future."
Oh. Sorry.
Sorry, I was looking something up. What did Motiva say to Flynn?
Motiva basically just said like, "Hey, you're supposed to be pretending like you're from here. You can't act like you don't know people."
That's really funny, and I think that I actually think that she laughs at that, and she kind of like looks between the two of you and say, "Pardon my manners, but the minute somebody walks up asking to speak to Jace, I don't imagine they're from here." But she would actually look to Falin and nod her head again and say, "But introductions are fine. I am Lavinia. I am a steward to the Living Guild Pact. I have other duties these days, but it's a busy time of year, and when he's around, he's a little helpless without me, if I'm honest." This is a really funny interaction because this is not how somebody's steward should be talking about somebody. So, like, I think this shows to you how she is like, "Oh yeah, I don't have to be respectful right now. You get it. You know him."
Motiva just nods and says, "I'm sure you have a hell of a job."
I do. You would think running a guild would mean I don't also have to run the guild pact's office, but you know.
Oof.
But you don't have to give me the respect of a guild master right now, as I am currently really a gopher.
But thank you for your service.
You see, she goes to actually put a hand on your shoulder, Flynn, and gives it a squeeze, and gives you kind of like a smile down at you. And she says, "You fit in less the more you speak, but thank you." And pats your shoulder and turns to leave.
Flynn makes the zipping motion on her mouth.
You have to pretend you're Slavic. You have to pretend you're mean.
Yeah, Flynn, I didn't realize that that's actually probably why Flynn wouldn't fit in Ravnica. People in Ravnica are bitches. Everybody is mean and everybody's disrespectful.
It's why Chad has a hard time here.
You're too nice.
Flynn muttering to herself, "Be mean, be mean."
You bitch.
Be a bitch.
Be a bitch, Flynn!
I need to be a bitch.
There's just a mantra that they're just fucking slapping back and forth at each other.
Yeah, literally. I do think it takes a bit of time to, like, go get him. Ravnica is not a small city. But he's gonna probably show up, I want to say maybe... Every amount of time sounds like it sucks, but there's no way it would be less. It would probably be like an hour and a half to 2 hours before he, like, shows up. But, like...
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Mativa's fucking conjured a fucking guitar and she's just fucking around with it.
But eventually he does kind of stroll in, almost in a hurry, which is funny because you've been here forever, right? And Sarah, because I don't think you've seen Jace yet.
I have seen art of him.
I will send you another art of him.
Yes.
Because you're officially getting to see him.
Send art of him without his weird fucking glow eyes, because that's impossible to find.
Found one instantly.
Ooh.
Oh, I found a couple of them, actually. Hold on.
Find Jace looking normal.
Well, he never looks normal, so I'll say that.
Whoop.
This is him without the hood.
Ooh. Hello, pretty man. I feel like whenever he does enter, Flynn is gonna, like, whisper to Motiva and say, "Do I have to be a bitch to him too?"
I don't know. What do I look like? God? I don't know.
I'll start off polite and go from there.
You all see as he kind of, like, comes in, and then, like, he almost, like, takes a second to, like, straighten himself up for a second. And he kind of goes to almost, like, smother a smile as he goes to close the door and say, "It's been a while. Was there something that you needed in particular? I didn't think this was a social visit since you're in
Yep. God.
since you're in the chamber."
Do you happen to have anything from Ixalan?
Like what exactly?
Like dirt? A knife?
I will
Something
say I
that-
didn't think to bring dirt back from planes I've been.
And anything that would work for a plane shift spell.
Um. Well, if I had anything like that, it would be back at my apartment. I'm sure I have a couple things from that time. It was who told you I've been to Ixalan?
Context clues from Vraska.
I need both of you to make me a will save.
Oh shit, I should have set a mind trap before. I literally have a spell for this.
I need
I'm
to
sorry.
look at my feats real quick. I think I might have something for will saves.
I literally have a spell for these situations. I have a mind trap spell and I forgot to say it.
I'm sorry, that's his whole thing. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm mad because I should have known. Hold on, I'm gonna see if.
Also, sorry if it sounds like I'm being awkward, Sarah. He is.
Okay, alright.
It's not even worth trying. He's like level 19,000 or whatever the fuck. I'm not gonna try instead of fucking mind trap.
28.
22.
Okay. You see him go to kind of pause for a second, and he says, "That makes sense. I know she likes you well enough, so I'm not really sure exactly what she's told you about me, but we both were there for a long time, so I can believe that it was mentioned." I need you guys both to tell me in explicit detail anytime your characters would have a unique thought.
Yeah.
I am not going to tell you whether you passed or failed, either of you. So just do it just to make sure.
Oh man.
Italian.
Me shoving
Italian.
Italian into Jace's fucking brain.
Spamming meme gifs.
Spamming gifts into Jace's brain.
But he would kind of look to the both of you and say, if you want, you're welcome to come with me. Would you need to... I'm unfamiliar with planar travel in the traditional sense. Ironic, I know. Would you need to keep the item? Or would it be a temporary sort of thing?
We could give it back to you.
How do
Okay.
I imagine so.
God,
We
no,
would
God.
Oh, okay.
Would we be able to give it back?
You don't know. You haven't done a plane shift spell.
Yeah.
Like, you've never made the scroll yourself, and you've never asked how it works. You haven't gotten back the items you gave to the school.
Oh shit, that's right. I feel like Philip says yeah, but you know, I'm not entirely sure.
That's why I was suggesting a jar of dirt.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I gave them and it worked.
Well,
Gave them a piece of cutlery.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It is a fork from my kitchen.
Oh my god.
And why do you need one?
This one's partner sparked and is missing.
We have reason to believe they're stuck on Ixalan.
Well, it's very populated. And not to sound insensitive, but it's a better time now to be on Ixalan than it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
So it shouldn't be too terribly hard to find them if that's your goal. I'm still confused at why you need an item from there, but I mean, you know, walking has its quirks. Maybe a tuning fork would help you.
Motiva points and says this one isn't sparked.
Ah,
She can't come with normally. She can't walk.
I picked up on that. No offense. Looks at Flynn and says that. I'll just stop asking questions. I just meant I don't know how an item helps somebody travel between planes, but that's just not my corner of magic, I suppose.
I don't know if you need to ask a question.
I'm capable of minding my business, I assure you.
Flynn stopping herself from info dumping on the importance of objects in regards to things like scrying and teleportation.
I'm gonna be so real. Motiva would just let Flynn go off about it.
I mean, I do want to know, are you, I would love to hear whether you are or not, because if you're thinking about it, that's important for me to know.
She is thinking about it.
Slay, he doesn't ask any more questions.
Oh,
But yeah, if you want to come with him to his apartment, you most definitely can. If not, you can wait here. Probably take him a minute still.
Flynn is curious. She would want to go with him.
Motiva is curious. I'm gonna be so real. If he is mind reading, it is the most pathetic thing because she would probably actually be thinking about how this is the first time she's been on the surface of Ravnica for so long.
Yeah, literally. You're literally only ever in the dank and the mold. And you were like that for a while, too.
Stink.
1 second. I'm gonna pause really quick because I want to try to find the section that talks about his apartment, because it actually is talked about in MTG Story, his apartment on Ravnica. And we're back. And you are actually walked through the city. Something very notable is that you guys took transportation to the Chamber of the Guild Pact. But Jace seems to almost leisurely walk through the streets to get to his apartment. I will have to later pick out what district and what part of town it's in, and then I can tell you about that if you like. But I know what's inside of it, which is the most important part. So you guys come up to an apartment. It's like a flat, I would say, maybe like a suite. So it has a couple rooms in it, but like one door, and it's like a one-story situation among other apartments. It's very hard to not live in either an apartment or like some apartments in like a guild hall in Ravnica. Nobody has houses. But they can be just as nice as houses. But you see that he goes to sort of like unlock the door and opens it. And something very interesting when interacting with Jace is that there is a very palpable knowledge that, okay, this is a very well-known planeswalker. This is somebody well-known with the Gatewatch. He's essentially the ruler of Ravnica and the laws that bind the guilds. He's like done all of these things, and he is older and more powerful and wiser by far than either of you. But he doesn't interact with you that way. he is almost distressingly down to earth in a way that's disarming. And his apartment reflects that. I would almost compare it to being cluttered. There are bookshelves, some with gaps still between the books and papers tucked in them. Every surface has papers or books or some such thing on it, but even more poignant as he sort of goes and starts, like, I don't want to say rifling. He like goes to kind of like look through things and look around his apartment, and he seems to actually be thinking, like, what from Ixalan do I have to that I could give, right? Um, but what's really poignant about it are the decorations, because you see in the corner under a little glass bell jar is a miniature chariot, almost like lovingly rendered to be like usable. You see a banner above the stove in the kitchen with this sort of it's this sort of banner of like black and purple with a golden cup on it that you recognize as the symbol of Lochthwain from Eldraine.
Ooh.
You see an old drinking horn decorated in gold and runes. You see a clay pot decorated with paintings that remind you of Theros. This apartment is filled with knickknacks, yes, but to everyone here who has been to other planes, these are stories, these are memories. It is a map of all of the places he has been that have touched him. And he ends up coming back. And he kind of, I'm not sure what you guys have been doing in this whole time. If you would, if you know, I would love if you would tell me. But I know what he would say whenever he came back to you.
Honestly, I think Falin is just looking around at everything. She's probably going to take a peek at some of those books and papers.
Yeah, you definitely can. Unfortunately, they're not. I don't want to say they're not interesting because he's an intellectual, but like it's like nerd shit. You know what I mean? So Falin would love it. I don't know what it is. You know?
Yeah.
Motiva looks sad, and I can DM you what she's thinking.
I would love that. Oh, here's another thing that you would notice. On one of the little shelves near the kitchen are these like boxes of like pressed tea tablets, like the little like tea balls that you put in tea. And they're kind of like labeled in this really like messy scrawl, shorthand names of different planes.
Oh, that's cute.
It is very cute. And also something really poignant. I know I mentioned this off call, but it is not hard with the information that you know, Motiva, and you don't know the state of it necessarily. This is a home too full for just one person. And I think you're getting what I'm putting down.
She's so fucking jealous.
Yeah. But by the time he comes back, he's gonna look to the both of you, and he doesn't look like super enthused necessarily. He's a very like mild personality. But for a second he kind of looks at you, Motiva, and he hesitates, and then he's gonna look at you, Falin. And he's going to say... I think he's just going to ask outright, and this would get you to them?
Yes.
And now I have to ask you a very fucked up question, Sarah.
Mhm.
When Felin says that, I need you to tell me if there is any, like, actually, like, worded thought that she has to tell me. Because the next thing that he says is, are you certain you'll find them alive? And I need you to tell me exactly every single thought you think in this moment.
I feel like after she says yes, her thought continuing that would be because there isn't another option. When he says, like, are you sure that you'll find them alive? It's not even... I feel like it's a lot of feelings all at once that ultimately can culminate into a thought phrase of, I hope so.
I think in this moment, when all you say is, like, the yes, and you feel these thoughts and these feelings overwhelm you, you barely notice as Jace leans down to take your hand and then presses into your palm a golden compass. It's not necessarily old in, like, the way that it looks rusted, but you can see that it is worn by touch. It has nicks and parts of it are broken, but the needle still sways. And he says, well, if you find out that I can get it back, I would. But if not, that's also fine.
I think she's gonna kind of hesitantly ask, may I ask what this is to you?
Oh, this old thing, nothing. I found it on a shoreline somewhere.
Just have fun rolling sense of
Hmm.
motive against
Yes.
him.
Okay, I'll roll it for you.
Have fun, my dude.
I would love the sense motive also if I can.
Okay.
I'm not trying. Motive is too fucking emo.
Okay, so just Felin?
Yeah. Motive is being snotty in her brain.
Okay, so Felin.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say some statements that sound really weird and behind the curtain, but I think that they'll make sense whenever I'm done saying the statement.
Mhm.
You are having a really hard time reading this man. Not only have you just met him, he is also almost like intentionally downplaying himself. There is a lot in the way that you've interacted with this man that feels very shifty, and not necessarily in a way that is shady, but you're getting the idea that misdirection, miscommunication, obfuscation is how he operates. And so I can tell you that the only reason that you can tell he's lying is because he's not trying to hide that he's lying. He is intentionally being dismissive as a way to not tell you.
All right.
And if it's up to Felin if Felin pushes, but he is making it very clear, like, I am not telling you, and I don't care if you know I'm not telling you.
Yeah, she's not gonna. She's just gonna nod.
Slay. you can add the compass to your inventory. If there's a Pathfinder compass, it works like a normal compass, but it also does a little extra stuff. But
Ooh.
we'll see if any of that happens. All right, what do you guys do? You have your thing.
I think Flynn is going to she's going to like hold the compass very gently, like it is a treasure.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't say thank you. Is there anything you can tell us about Ixalan? Any warnings, I guess?
Well, that's a loaded question. No plane is simple. And if anybody tries to tell you that a plane is simple, they are actively putting you in danger. As intricate and complicated and dangerous as your home is as intricate and complicated and dangerous as Ixalan is. And I haven't been there in a significant amount of time. But I can give you some information on what I knew to be the factions of power at the time, and a little bit about the landscape. And I could tell you a bit more about what I did while I was there.
Yes, please.
All right. Ixalan is a plane. The boundaries of planes are very whimsical. Very rarely is an entire plane a complete circular planet. The edges of Ixalan are a mainland known as Torrezon. A huge sea, as well as Ixalan, the landmass, which is another continent. I remember jungles were very prominent, lots of water. The coast is obviously a big aspect of the topography. There are also islands, but generally speaking, those have less than the bigger land masses. And for factions, when I was there, I was a member of a faction called the Brazen Coalition. Pirates. It's a long story, but that was the faction that I threw my backing behind, as well as Froska. There also is the Sun Empire, the native peoples of the landmass of Ixalan, as well as the River Heralds, which are merfolk of the region. And calling them the most powerful of the factions is incorrect, but one of the more prominent and dangerous ones are the Legion of Dusk. The Legion of Dusk are inhabitants. I can't confidently say that they are natives of the place that they're from. Of Torrezon. They are a very zealous religious faction of humans and vampires. The main factional struggle when I was on Ixalan was the Legion of Dusk trying to find a place called Orazka, the City of Gold, in the Sun Empire on Ixalan. as well as members of the Sun Empire also trying to reclaim it. It was a lost city for a very long time. But the main conflict was between the Sun Empire and the Legion of Dusk. The River Heralds and the Brazen Coalition are, I wouldn't say outliers, they were very much involved, but they were kind of their own pieces in this conflict. As of right now, now that we have the Immortal Sun, Orazca has been found. But the reason why people wanted to find it is no longer there. So I am unsure how much of the political landscape has changed because of it. It could be that they are still in their war of attrition, or it could be a different conflict, or if you're really lucky, everybody packed up and went home. I should also mention, there are dinosaurs. Beasts are very large in Ixalan. Generally speaking, if you are not finding wild dinosaurs, they are usually allied with the Sun Empire, as the Sun Empire has a very positive... I'm not sure the specifics. I didn't spend much time with the Sun Empire myself. Most of my information is hearsay if I didn't immediately interact with it. As I said, my faction was a bit farther removed from the struggle of land and conquest. This is me, above table Panini Conquistadors.
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 Wow.
This is the Aztec plane.
We're gonna murder the Spanish. It'll be funny.
It'd be kind of funny.
Man.
Motiva's going to look to Valen and say, is this good enough for you?
Yes, this is excellent information. Thank you.
Would we stick out too much on Ixalan? I don't think I have to tell you that Valen doesn't actually look like this.
It's right, you didn't. And you both would. But as Valen has shown, there are ways to obfuscate how you look. In my experience, there are many mages on Ixalan. It's not like magic is unheard of. But I got a lot of mileage out of illusions and the like. So you may be as lucky as I was.
What would be a good kind of appearance to take on?
Well, do you have a faction you want to pretend to back, or do you want an angle on how to get in with a community there? Generally speaking, whenever I would call this an infiltration if you're trying to not immediately, you know. In my opinion, trying to have an angle of I'm a missionary from the Legion of Dusk, or I'm here to start an outpost, or I'm a marooned member of a coalition crew. I I can more easily answer your question that way if I know who you're trying to get to like you and who you don't care if they like you. Because every faction has their enemies.
Um, I am not very good when it comes to lying. And
I
I'm
know.
not entirely sure. Yes. I'm not entirely sure who we would need in with. I suppose it wouldn't hurt if one of the factions is particularly good at navigating the jungles.
If you are wanting to explore the jungle specifically, you might want to ally or seem like a part of the Sun Empire, as that is where they make their homes. But I agree with your idea that there's not really a way to know, because unfortunately we don't know who your friend would be near. But if you're wanting to traipse through the jungles and you would like less hostility, looking human, and dressing in the way that the Sun Empire tends to dress would help you and give you a bit more mileage, I would say.
Do you have any examples of the kinds of clothes they wear?
I might have a book around here somewhere. And I am going to say that he rifles around and finds maybe like a book from Ixalan. And he is going to give it to you. And now, me as Panini, hi, hello, you can now look up cards from Ixalan.
Yay!
So you can look up like what they look like and stuff. You can do the same thing that we did when you were researching planes, where like you can go on like the wiki and stuff, just like anything that's like history sections. Try not to read like those sections, but you can look at pictures, you can look at cards. You can be like Sun Empire at MTG Wiki and then click on members of the Sun Empire, that sort of thing. You can also do that with Legion of Dusk. They look cool as fuck.
Woo!
I also really like the Brazen Coalition. They're all really cool factions. I like them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Alright. I feel like Phil like jots all that down and is going to look to Motiva. Is there anything else you think we should ask?
I think we'll just have to learn on the job.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. I mean, you know where I live now. If we're both in town at the same time, feel free to stop by. I try to make a habit of keeping in contact with other planeswalkers.
Maybe you could meet my partner once we get them out.
You see him go to give a smile, and he says, I would like that. And if there's other situations where you and other planeswalkers you know need help, the Gatewatch is just a walk away. Even as small and disbanded as we are, I don't disagree with trying to keep this multiverse together.
That makes me hopeful.
Good luck. And I mean that.
Thank you.
And he lets you out of his apartment. And as you go into the hallways, the door behind you clicks, and you hear the lock click. And Jace stays inside. How you guys doing? How you guys feeling?
Oddly hopeful. Very determined.
Sad.
Yeah. I was gonna say, all right, P-Motif, I know how you're feeling. All right. So I would love to have a little bit. We'll say that you guys go back to Arcavios. But I would love for you to tell me if there's anything else you do, what you think your plan is going to be, if you want to talk a little bit about specifics. When you bring this item back to Liliana, Liliana gets started on making you the scroll. And I have already rolled for that, and I can tell you that it will take 4 days. Which is definitely nothing to scoff at.
She fucking zooming.
Yeah, she immediately started going.
Man.
Man.
Give me your plans. What's your angle? Who are you taking? What are you taking? What's your story? What's your plan of action? Because another thing, and this goes back to something I said early on in the session, this does not mean you will be guaranteed to be anywhere near Eleni. You will be touching down on Ixalan, and you will be searching yourself.
Yeah. I feel like a good bet, because the scry was them, like, in the jungle.
Yes. You did
So I
not
feel
see
like-
a coast at all.
Yeah, so I feel like starting in the Sun Empire with whatever story we end up going with and seeing if anybody has seen them before starting to go into the wilderness.
Yeah, not gonna lie, Eleni would stick out a lot.
Yeah,
So,
100%. Like,
I know
sometimes...
there's like mermaids, but like...
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know there's mermaids on Ixalan and stuff. Eleni does not look like a mermaid.
Oh, no, not
They
at all.
are a-
Merfolk. Yeah, merfolk are a whole different thing. They look very weird.
They are a fucking water person.
Yeah, not every, like, time somebody's extracted, you guys can just be like, oh, well, have you seen anybody by this description? But with Eleni, you definitely, that's a valid, like, plan, you know?
Yep.
Man. Ugh. Sorry, I wanted to settle down. My
Yeah,
headset hurt my fucking head.
Wow. No, definitely. Okay, so you guys are gonna wait a couple of days. You're gonna go, somewhere on Ixalan the landmass, and you're going to try to, sort of look into the Sun Empire faction and region, to then try to see if you can find any clues. Is that what we were going with?
Think so.
Yeah. And then if, for whatever reason, that doesn't work, I imagine we could find people to help us go through the jungle, and then we can fucking just start combing it, I guess.
It's true. It's definitely true. like going out into the wilderness and like searching is definitely something that's not off the table. And this goes back into the question of like, who exactly are you bringing? Is it still like bringing Ashan and Nefeh? Because Motiva, if you recall, Ashan was talking about how he is starting to feel like he has ways to tell if certain people are near him.
Yes.
So if you guys have to just start going into the woods and doing that, that's an option.
I am definitely still on board with bringing Ashan and Nefeh. I think that's a good set of people.
Big
And
Luffy.
obviously for Linwood. Yeah.
Glenn would what?
Flynn would very much want Ashan and Nefeh there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. If that is all that you guys have to tell me in preparation for me writing this session, then I'll go ahead and end the recording.
I don't know what we would
Oh,
do
jeez.
for... What?
No, go ahead.
I don't know what we would do for, like, coming up with a story to tell people.
Stranded.
Stranded.
Yeah. You also could the option could just be being a bitch and saying I'm not telling you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's like always an option. So like you don't always have to have a story. It's just that like I feel like we as a group tend to lean into having a story. So if there is a story I would like to know. It's basically anything that you can tell me ahead of time to get ready for. I would just love the heads up.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are gonna have to worry about food and water, which is something you guys never have to worry about in Strixhaven.
Ooh.
Me outside of Jace's apartment whenever we fucking lose his compass.
Don't lose it. Heart. I'm gonna stop recording.
Pussy.